I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. She is the author of the book. It's simple. A holistic approach to self-confidence. No other than Miss Alexandra Docheva. Welcome to Book 101, Miss Alexandra, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Hi, Daniel. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, my name is Alexander Docheva. I wrote this book in 2021 because I struggled with lack of confidence for more than 2 decades. Okay, because I was first a musician for 26 years and I wasn't as accomplished as I wanted to be, even though I earned a bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree in classical violin. The master's and doctoral here in the United States. I'm originally from Bulgaria, and in 2008, I put myself through nursing school after I defended my doctoral monograph in classical violin. And in 2011, I became a nurse. And then in 2014, I became a real estate investor. I currently own three real estate businesses along with my nursing career. And then people started asking, how did you do all this? We know you were very not confident, you have no self-esteem for such a long time, and why don't you write about it so you can maybe help other people overcome their fears? And I laughed at the idea in 2018 and said, yeah, right, I'm going to write a book. But then in 2020, when the COVID hit, I said, well, why not? Why not? I had the idea of the system I was using for the last 10, 12 years, and I wanted to introduce it to people because there were lots of questions of how I was doing things. And then the book came along, and then the coaching business. So
Miss Alexandra, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. I hope people will empowered with this book. So, what does a holistic approach to self confidence mean?
it means that you approach the five most important aspects of your life. Of course, many people have different understanding about life aspects. I try to keep it as simple as possible because I asked myself in 2020, okay, so everybody's asking these questions. What would be the book I would love to have been able to read when I was starting on the nursing path, when I hit my early midlife crisis at age 32 in 2008? And I realized that I really had been very obsessed with my health, career, finances, which is wealth building, then the relationship aspect and the spiritual aspect. So these are the five aspects. And I integrated that whole system holistically because you integrate your entire life with all these five essential pillars. And it's the same exact system I use throughout for all of them to keep them at optimal level at any point in time. So I constantly work on improving each one of them and be in control of my life without depending on too many people to tell me what to do and how to do it. So this is the holistic approach to confidence, because once you take full responsibility of your health, career, finances, spirituality, and relationship choices, you will be holistically self-confident. Nothing will be missing in your life. And of course, it's a constant work in progress.
So, why is self oh, sorry. So, why is self confidence an essential skill in both personal and professional life?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Why is self-confidence is essential skill in both
Of course.
personal and personal life?
Well, because you want to, first of all, emanate the confidence to others if you want the world to work with you. That's the most important part. And you don't want to be crushed by people who think that they're entitled to manipulate your life in any way. And we, of course, are witnesses many ways in the healthcare system and then in the financial system, the structure, how things are, how people are easily manipulated if they don't have the proper knowledge. And then, of course, the relationships are another big topic to discuss, because whose influences we allow in our lives determines our health outcomes, our career outcomes, financial outcomes, and even our spiritual well-being in so many ways.
So, what are some misconceptions about self-confidence that the book might address?
Well, the common misconception is, which I used to suffer a lot when I was younger, of course, is that you either have it or you don't have it. And for the longest time, I didn't realize how you really can learn the skills and the mindset to acquire the self-confidence by, first of all, realizing that you're not entitled to it, but you have to earn it. If you're not, because some people are bolder than others when they're kids, right? And but if you're socially awkward like I was for so many years growing up, then you have to elaborate on your mindset and learn how to become self-confident by not avoiding problems like I used to for the longest time. Again, you address your problems in your life and you solve them one by one, and then you create the goals that create additional problems. And the more problems you solve, meaning the fewer problems you run away from and take responsibility over, the more your confidence grows. And there is no substitute for solving your own problems with or without others' help. But first of all, you have to recognize where your challenges are in life, and you need to, attack them head first.
Definitely. Very well said, Miss Alexandra. Very well said. So, how can simplifying the process of building self confidence make it more accessible?
Well, it's really not, I mean, it really is simple. The system is simple, but achieving it, it's not necessarily simple because you know how, even in acting or anything, to be an actor who looks completely natural on stage, it looks very simple, but it's the hardest thing to do. So once you understand the basics of the system and you apply it without compromise, with self discipline, with integrity in all of your five aspects of your life, then it becomes very clear how much you can achieve. But the discipline is the challenge. So while the system is simple, I tell people the system is not hard, but applying it to your life because of all the temptations that we have from all directions and the overwhelm with information and the rapid development of technology that makes us always feel that we are, taking one step back for two steps forward. It can be frustrating, but once you get the gist of the system, you basically clear the things that you don't need in your life. Once you determine what your goals are and you find out what's stopping you, and you really need to get rid of these things in your health, in your career, in your finances, in your relationships, and in your spiritual, your mental process, and then you have cleared room in all these areas to achieve the things that you want, to put them in the place of what you had clear that you didn't need in your life. And it's a tedious process. It's not a quick thing. It's not an overnight process at all. It took me 10 to 15 years to achieve that, but relentless work from day one. And it's very rewarding. Now, again, many people give up during the process, and that's what the book is for, because it's all based on experience. And I wanted to show people how the struggles are struggles, but everything can be overcome if you really put your mind into it. And it's just a very rewarding end result with continuous, endeavor for more and more perfection and excellence in your life without compromise.
Definitely. So, what strategies can help someone recognize and challenge their inner critic?
Well, the inner critic, first of all, you need to know what exactly you're criticizing. Because, see, my challenge when I was a teenager, Daniel, was that I really was not addressing the main problems I had as a performer, as a violinist for so many years. I didn't tackle the real problems I had in my focus, in my practice of the violin, and then I developed this tremendous stage fright, and I attributed it to other reasons that were not the real reason. But that realization came later. I mean, I knew I was not addressing the main problem, but I eventually believed that the things I was thinking were the problem, were the actual problems. And you fall in that hole very quickly when you invent your own problems that are not the real issue that you have to be addressing. It's a self-delusional process. And when you are honest with what your actual problems are, you don't avoid the main issues because they're the most unpleasant things. If it's something that you really don't feel like doing or resolving, that is your main problem. So this is the basis of your understanding of yourself and where your self-criticism is coming from. Is it sincere? Is it genuine? Or is it just because you want to mask something that really needs work? That was, for me, the main challenge.
Definitely. Actual problem. So, what role does setting realistic goals play in boosting self confidence?
Because if you're able to set goals that you will challenge yourself enough to feel like you accomplished something with the challenge, but it's not too hard that you get discouraged, especially at the beginning of the process, because you've beaten yourself down so many years. If you're lacking confidence, or if you're like a bad crossroads in life, or a midlife crisis that you have lost direction in life for whatever reason, or motivation, you said the realistic goals have to be within your ability, but a little bit beyond. Okay, so that you can, I think I would do that, but now I do that. Then you set a little bit more ambitious goals, slightly more ambitious and more ambitious. Okay, so this is the realistic. You still have to challenge yourself, though. It cannot be within your comfort zone, because you will never grow.
Go outside your comfort zone, people, so that you will grow and you know who you are. So, how does adopting a growth mindset impact self confidence?
Because you start you understand yourself better when you solve a problem after problem with harder and harder goals and more ambitious goals. You learn a lot about yourself, mostly, and what your true character traits are, and what is impeding your progress because of your mindset. When you have goals that are slightly more challenging than your current abilities, you can see how your mind is revolting against the challenge and against failure, and you address your fear of failure much more objectively and honestly. And again, it's a lengthy process. It takes a couple of years to understand that, yes, you are the problem. It's your mindset that's the problem, and the fear of failure. And when you stop fearing your mistakes and actually decide to learn from them, and of course, then it's also the apprehension of all others' opinions. What would other people? You have to also put this aside. You stop caring about others' opinions so much. Stop being afraid of failing, because failing is learning. In the academic mindset, which I was, of course, a product of for so many years with college and my master's, doctoral degrees, and all that, academics, they frown upon mistakes. And unless you're a surgeon performing cardiac surgery, or a pilot flying 400 people across the ocean, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes and learn and fail, and it's preferable to fail early in any endeavor, because you lose less of your confidence, and if you're applied any capital or money involved, you lose less money. That's with investing, for example. But people are so afraid to fail, and they're so afraid of being judged, that they really paralyze themselves in this analysis of the what if mindset, and this has to disappear from your personality if you want to make any significant progress in your life and build confidence, real confidence, not some confidence that your mom says that you're amazing, but you really aren't, right? Does that make sense?
Definitely. So, what daily affirmations or thought exercises can help someone build confidence?
I practice mind control in various meditation ways. So I have goals. I always tell myself that the goal is already accomplished. That's how I treat the goal. If it might be 5 years ahead, or 2 years ahead, or 3 years ahead, I act as if it is already accomplished. And that was something that also took me quite some time, because I never could believe, for one thing, that I would accomplish any more ambitious goal than my comfort zone, let alone like something 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, because it's hard when you're not confident to invent goals 5 or 10 years from now that are realistic, because you have no clue what you're able to accomplish. And you know how the problem is when many people want to achieve things within a year and put these unrealistic expectations for themselves, because they overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, but they really underestimate what can be done within 5, 10, or 15 years. And that's where that discrepancy in actual understanding of your abilities in reality, and the inspiration come into conflict. All right. So the affirmations and the routines are many. I have physical routines in the morning to inflict as much pain on myself as possible, to build the pain tolerance for the rest of the day. Because there were things that I learned, like cold showers, or doing push-ups on my fists in the morning, but dark, before the sun rise. And these were things that were painful for me, but now it's okay, because I'm used to them. And I know that if I start my day like this, nothing can stop me throughout the day. So,
Unstoppable.
right? But different people see it differently. So the mindset and the meditations, the affirmations, all of your goals that you really want to achieve 10 years from now, and the smart and very successful people, they start with these long-term goals first, because they then create smaller goals. If you have a vision for your future, 10, 15 years from now, you will be more ambitious, and you will prompt yourself to work on it much more honestly and consistently than if you have these short-term goals that can wait till tomorrow, till the day after, 1 month, 2 months, 3 years. Uh, that was a very important switch of mindset for me.
Definitely. Totally agree, Miss Alexandra. So, speaking of goals, what is your short term and long term goals in writing?
In writing, well, I have long-term goals as far as real estate acquisitions, career achievements, and really stay up as far as independence financially. Retirement date, when I want to retire, is going to be way before I'm 65, obviously, because with investing and with real estate, you can afford to do that. But as far as reaching people and changing people's lives, that's another very important goal, because I want to influence people to see that if I could do it, they can. And that's what I always tell my patients when it comes to dieting and exercising, because I deal with very sick people every day. I work as a nurse. And the long term goal is just to see, hopefully, more and more people believing in themselves, that they can accomplish way more than they think they can, because the system tells you one thing, but you actually are capable of so much more than the framework that we kind of live in every day tries to impose on us if we let it. So this is my long-term thing, to see more people trust in their own abilities, because we are incredibly capable creatures in so many ways and areas.
Definitely. So, how can one shift from a fear of failure to embracing mistakes as learning opportunities?
Yeah. Well, you have to be sick of yourself enough to embark on this journey, because I was absolutely sick of my own mindset and everything that came with it. And I got very tired of it. And then you have to explore your fears and make them your friends, because the fear and anxiety, I don't know how it is where you live, but here in the US, uh, anxiety is a major problem. People are on all sorts of medications because they treat anxiety as some kind of a horrible enemy and let it overwhelm their lives. Whereas anxiety can be actually a friend. You can see, okay, why am I anxious? What have I not done right? What have I not doing enough? And what is it telling me? I'm not enough with something. It's not the outside system, it's really me. And that's how I grasped anxiety, because I suffered tremendous anxiety every day. I was depressed. I never took medications because I wasn't even diagnosed with depression. But now that I've been a nurse for 13 years, I know that I have depression and anxiety. And I learned to work with this, because I wasn't aware at the time when I was a musician that there were actually medications for depression. Thank goodness I wasn't aware, right? But the fear is a prompting, motivating factor. And when you explore your fears, see what exactly you're afraid of, what you haven't really done that you should have been doing, then it's not that hard to overcome fear. But you have to be first and foremost very honest with yourself, and that isn't easy. That's not easy.
Definitely. So, how does physical health influence self confidence?
Oh my goodness, well, optimal health is a lifelong responsibility, right? Especially in a system that is so corrupt that uses the patients as assets. You have to be very aware and knowledgeable what is going on, and research resources for health. So nutrition responsibility, exercise responsibility, detox responsibility. These are things that you have to integrate in your lifestyle to be confident with your health. Because see, the other thing, Daniel, is if you start a business, if you start a demanding career that's ambitious and requires a lot of hours of work, you have to be optimally healthy to be able to endure through your learning period of 5 or 10 years, because before you become a really natural professional. And with business, I'll give you the simple example with the real estate, because if you're somebody who starts from zero, like I did 15 years ago, I didn't have much money to pay contractors to fix my property. So I had to paint properties and fix things for 12 hours a day before I could convert an apartment to rent it to tenants. So to have that endurance, you have to be a very healthy person. You can't just wing it. And that's how confidence happens. Okay, so I'm very healthy. I can do this and this and this in my business. And it's just a chain of reactions in your life that everything becomes so connected and intertwined that it works together and clicks perfect synchrony that way.
Totally agree, Miss Alexandra. So, how can mindfulness or meditation help in developing self confidence?
So now you're getting into spiritual area, spiritual aspect of life. So I treat this in three different ways. So meditation is the clearing of the mind, because you want to get rid of the petty, nasty thoughts that try to, crawl into your brain and distract you from your real aspirations and what's essential during the day. So I meditate to clear my mind, but I also use active meditation, dynamic meditation, to ascertain my goals and the affirmations like we discussed earlier. The other part of mindfulness is inspiration. So that is the nutrition for the mind. Who do you choose as influence? How often do you read their books or listen to their videos or conversations, interviews with these people who have overcome adversity on so many levels? And there are extraordinarily successful people nowadays that have been through many more ordeals than I have, or many other people. So we always think that our problems are the worst, but actually, once we hear people that are significantly have been through so much more than we have been through, that's the inspiration part for me. I always listen to inspirational interviews or read the books of very successful people. And the third aspect, just as important for the mindfulness, is the fitness for the mind, which is the lifelong learning. So you always have to challenge your mind with things that it doesn't initially understand. So you don't shy away from concepts or ideas or terminology or vocabulary that you don't understand. You challenge your mind to understand it and delve into it, because we want to develop more neurons to stay current with the changing times and not get old so fast. So lifelong learning, that is a must in mindfulness.
Yes, learn something every day, people. And Miss Alexandra, what will be your advice for those people out there having a low esteem?
Change that. You just get yourself in shape by seeing what is missing in your life and what you really want to accomplish aside from other people's influences, because we all have dreams. We all have something that excites us so much just by thinking about it. What is your thing? Maybe several things. And how can you integrate your current experience into something new that you might want to do, that really gives you joy to do and build confidence in your abilities to accomplish it? But again, you have to sit with yourself. I mean, in chapter 1 of the book, I have this whole series of exercises of how you sit, by yourself and figure out what's missing in the life. What is the problem? What are your fears? I have exercise for confidence throughout the book, but chapter 1 and chapter 14 are mostly the ones that include the exercises. But then throughout the book, it's talking about strategies, how to address certain mindset issues that you have to do. But start reading books. That's how I started, actually. I started reading books by people who used to have tons of problems and then became extremely successful. I said, okay, so if they could do it, why can't I? So I started reading, okay? And that helped, because books are relatively inexpensive ways to start seeing how things work before you hire a mentor or a coach to address your problems, or a counselor, whatever you need, right? You try to always help yourself first. But the problem with many people is they listen to their friends and their parents and their loved ones and all that. It's not always the best advice, well-intentioned as it is, because most people they don't know everything about the things that you might aspire to, and then you can limit yourself in a very narrow zone based on their understanding, knowledge, and expectations. And again, you can accomplish way more than you think you can. Just understand that there are many people before you that were struggling. Embrace their struggles, learn about that, and see that you're no less capable than these people. So as long as you understand that, you will be much more willing to reverse your mindset with the poor self-esteem mindset. It's completely
Very well
doable.
said.
Yeah.
Very well said, Miss Alexandria. And people read, read, read. That's why Elon Musk become billionaire, because he's always read,
Oh my
read,
God.
read any kind of books.
What a brain this man
What
has.
a brain.
Yeah.
And speaking of books, you need to listen or read the books of Mr. Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. To sum up our discussion, Miss Alexandra, what are some practical ways to manage the stress that negatively affects confidence?
To monitor stress or to manage stress?
To manage stress.
Oh, physical exercise. I was a martial artist for 12 years, and that was a tremendous help for my confidence, because
Yes.
my teachers were national champions in karate, and man, they they were old school, and they really taught us how to. The pain was a very good teacher. It was nothing was held back. So that type of physical exercise, if you want to hit the gym, you have to hit the gym, but you have to be very serious about it. Very, very serious about your physical exercise, because that is a great stress reliever. I have described in chapter 60 all the benefits of physical exercise, because I looked through all the body systems medically, and what it does to you and how it affects your health and mental and physical and emotional health. It's an amazing, amazing thing if you stick with it. Okay, so you don't just do exercise once a month. It has to be part of your routine. That's a great way to manage stress. And then once you relax, you practice meditation and really consistent work on all of your goals and immediately addressing every challenge that each goal brings to you. You don't put off problems, because that creates extra stress. And it's not a way to manage stress. You don't avoid the problems in order to manage your anxiety. That's just reinforcing it, because you know deep down there that you're slacking and you're not doing the work that needs to be done. And that's not going to help your confidence, your self-esteem, or your anxiety control.
And of course, discipline, people. If you
Discipline.
Yes, number one, people,
Yeah.
discipline. Practice your discipline. So, Miss Alexandria, thank you so much for sharing your empowering books and having a great confidence in all aspects of our life. So, can you please invite our listeners to support this book?
Yes, they can find the book on my website, holisticselfconfidence.com. Unfortunately, the paperback is only available in the US because of the high shipping costs, but the ebook is available on the worldwide on my website, holisticselfconfidence.com, or Amazon, or Barnes& and Noble, or Apple Books, or Smashwords. Same price for the ebook everywhere.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Alexandria, because if we support her, more self-confident books to come. We need to have this self-confidence in every aspect of our lives. So, Miss Alexandra, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. It's a pleasure.
More to come, people. See you soon.